Just before I get started, I just want to introduce Grace to you. Grace is from Huddle, and right now BC High School Boys is working on a partnership with Huddle, and they have a bit of a deal for all the clinic coaches as well as for coaches in our association. So this is Grace from Huddle. Let's give her a round of applause.
For those of you who don't know what Huddle is, we'll do everything from capturing to breaking down your film, as well as live stream. So happy to give a demo or answer any questions you guys have. Like Paul said, we have some pretty awesome deals going on for boys basketball, so feel free to stop by and say hi. Thank you.
Thanks, Grace. Thank you. I used Huddle when I was at Langara, and actually at West Van, we just bought a camera, which I'm very excited about. I've been wanting to do this for a while. It's a camera that they'll mount in your gym permanently that automatically follows the play. So you can live stream every one of your games. You can certainly use it as a teaching tool. And I mean, it's not cheap, but it's not that expensive, because what we did at West Van is we're gonna use it for volleyball and for basketball, and our football team uses it because football has to use it, right? They don't use that camera, but they use Huddle. So, you know, between all those teams, all the volleyball teams and basketball teams and football team, it works out it's about $25, $30 an athlete to cover the cost. And they all get individual accounts on there, and they can make their little highlight tapes and put up on TikTok and all that shit. So, but it's a really good service, and we're pleased that we're partnering with them, and they're offering some discount deals right now, which certainly help with the U.S. exchange. So if you have any questions about that, Grace is here and she'd be more than happy to ask. And if you want to ask me, I can tell you, having used it before, it's a pretty cool service. So thanks for sticking around. One of the things, when I go to clinics, I always hope I can pick up a few things, right? If I leave a clinic with 3 or 4 things that I think will help me, then I'm pretty happy about that. And I thought what I'd do for the first part is I want to talk about how to create the right culture. Because truthfully, if you don't have the right culture in your program, be it a grade 8 team or a senior team or your whole school or a club team, whatever team it is that you're working with, if you don't have the right culture, I'm not sure that you're ever going to achieve the kind of success you could or should. The things that I want to share with you in here are things that over 40 plus years of coaching have served me well. And I adjust them and I change them all the time. But there's some core things that I believe that I think the program has to have to be successful. And I think you need to develop that. And it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a long time. So that's kind of what I want to share with you today. By the way, Coach Julius, he was talking about skipping. He kind of stole my thing, because skipping is important. I actually buy ropes for all my teams. We skip all the time. And I brought one of our ropes. It's customized. I was going to do a little skipping exhibition for you, but Coach Julius did it, so I can't. I apologize, because trust me, that would have been highly entertaining, considering my vertical is negative these days. But also I want to thank STM for hosting everything here today, and the STM players. As Aaron said, I coached him on provincial team. I coached Denzel, who's the head coach of the team now, on provincial team. I coached Dominic Zimmerman, another guy on staff here. So, and I used to come to this tournament all the time. When I was at McNair, we came every year to the Chancellor when they had the old gym, and it was an amazing tournament. And I always came because their coach's room, the best. There is so much good food in there. All the parents, they make lasagna and chili, and it's the best coach's room there is. And so that was the main reason why I like to come. Although I must say, Coach O, when he was at Sutherland, his coach's rooms were pretty good too. So a very important consideration when you go to a tournament. I'm going to tell you one quick story before, I know I'm stalling. So we were playing here, it was the semifinals, and there was a particular referee that he still refs. I think he's been refereeing forever. He's a good guy, but he calls the game really tight, and he drove me nuts. And so this is when I was young and really, really crazy, like much crazier than I am now. So we're getting killed, man. Like every fucking call is going to, like we're getting killed. And he's calling so many fouls on us. So I call a timeout. I picked the 2 guys on my team who I knew would do it, and I say, listen, next time down the floor, I'm going to scream at you. Guard the guy on the floor that's killing us. Guard the guy that's killing us. And I want you to run over, and I want you to trap the referee. And it was right there on that baseline. We were on this bench. And they're in the middle of play, and I scream, "Guard the guy that's killing us! Go double team him!" And these two guys, they run over, they close out, boom, 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 boom. And the ref takes a step back, blows his whistle, tees him up, and I said, "Hey, I told him to do it. You should be teeing me up, buddy." And he gave me one too. So anyway, I remember that. I remember that. It was right there. So, all right. By the way, this presentation, if you want it, just email me. I'll send it to you, okay? If you don't have time to do it right, when will you have time to do it over? I'm a big guy for quotes, and I think this is so true, right? If you accept less than their best in practice, you will get less than their best in a game. If you're teaching them a drill, and you want it done a certain way, and they make some mistakes, and you don't correct those mistakes, then I think you're setting yourself up for failure, right? You have to do things the way you want them to be done. It's important. As a head coach, what are the things I have to do? I need to model, teach, reward, and enforce the expectations and standards for how my program will operate. Okay? I need to make that clear so they all know how my athletes will do what, how they'll train, how they'll practice, how they'll conduct themselves on and off the court, win, lose, lead, all that stuff. Okay? I got to do my best to show that through the example that I give them. So Bill Walsh wrote a really good book. It's called The Score Takes Care of Itself. I highly recommend it. It's an old book, right? For you young guys, Bill Walsh was the 49ers coach. 49ers were terrible, and he took them over. And he called it the standard of performance, which is how he created his culture with his team, okay? And basically, it was a way of doing things. It was a philosophy that had just as much to do with values, principles, and ideals as it did with blocking, tackling, and passing, right? He wanted these things to be a priority because these are the things that were going to lead to success. We can all get pretty good at teaching skills. Right? We all learn different things. We can all get pretty good at that, and we can all get pretty good technically too. We can learn tactics and strategy, and we can learn how to be a better coach that way. But if you don't have these core principles, it just won't matter. It won't matter. It's everything. You know, I was very lucky. A few years ago, I got to go down to Sacramento to watch their training camp. And Jay Triano, who was a buddy of mine, had just been hired by Sacramento, and Mike Brown was the new coach. Sacramento sucked. They were terrible. They hadn't been in the playoffs for over 15 years, I think. They were so bad, and their whole culture was a losing culture. And so it was really interesting when I watched the training camp because, I mean, Mike Brown was unbelievably organized. Everything was down to the minute, to the second. He had like 20 coaches. Like, it was super well organized and impressive with the technical stuff they're doing, but he didn't spend much time on that. It was all about, he was trying to create a winning culture there. And you know what really inspired me? It didn't matter what the person's job was. So if the guy was in charge of wiping up the floor, then when someone went down on the floor and there was a wet spot, he frickin' sprinted up there, he wiped it as hard as he could, he came off the court, everybody gave him high fives, and it was like he was gonna do that because that was important for that team to be successful. And so everybody bought into this culture of success, and I mean, look what Mike Brown did there. They made the playoffs, they came second in the West that year. Of course, in the NBA, that doesn't matter because he got fired 2 years later, but he changed the culture entirely, right? And so it's all about culture. This is another really important lesson that I learned, and this was not too long ago. It's about the New Zealand All Blacks rugby team, and it's called sweeping the sheds. So with my team now, I just have to use that phrase now. When practice is over, or when a tournament's over, or we had a team meeting, I said, "Hey guys, did we sweep the sheds today?" And they know exactly what that means. New Zealand is a powerhouse, and they became a powerhouse through this culture. It's all about their team culture, okay? So they have like a 79% winning percentage, which is the best winning percentage of any sports team in the world. And their country only has 4 million people in it. But when they won the World Championships, and the fans are all in the field, the World Cup, they're all celebrating. Their most senior players, the 3 best players, like the best rugby player in the world, they were not out on the field celebrating. They were actually in the locker room, and they were cleaning the locker room. Why? Because it was their job, it was their turn. And they wanted to make sure when the game was over and the team came in after, that locker room was spick and span clean. So that's what they were doing. They don't have room for big heads. They don't have room for egos. Everybody's equal and everybody has their job to do. And that's what they call sweeping the sheds. It's all on the little things that you do. And it's a really amazing philosophy. There's a very good book, which I would highly recommend, by an author named James Kerr, and it's called Legacy: What the All Blacks Can Teach Us About Business of Life. And this philosophy is really important. And I highly recommend you take the time to take a look at the book, because it's a really, really good book. And it really talks and teaches us a lot about how to create that culture within our team that we want to create. Hey, any questions as I'm going through, please throw your hand up and ask, okay? If I'm going too fast, let me know. So it's funny because Coach Dominguez talked about this. I heard him talking about this, right? And this was another book I want to share with you, because it was by a psychologist named Bruce Tuckman. It's called The Theory of Group Development. And you heard Coach Tony talking about it a little bit, right? That there's kind of like 5 stages, right? Now, this was written back in the 60s, right? He wrote just a scholarly article, but a guy named Daniel Levy updated the book recently called Group Dynamics for Teams. Now, I have used this since I first started coaching. I actually learned a lot of this from Rich Goulet. So, and you heard Coach Tony talk about it, right? The first stage is you've got your team, and it's that forming stage. People are trying to figure each other out. They're trying to get to know each other a little bit. You know, that stage takes a while, right? Okay? The storming stage is actually the most important one. It's when things go wrong, right? It's when things don't go well. And this is the most important stage, because some teams never find their way through that. You have to find your way through that, but they have to learn how to do it. I have had the team I had at Langara that won the national title, just an amazing group of young men. And we were rolling that year, right? We hadn't lost a game, and it was early January, and we played Douglas, and we played terrible. We won by 20, but we were just awful. We just played terrible. We went through the motions. So we hadn't really had any chaos yet. And so I knew as a coach, you know what? These guys need some chaos. Like these guys, I got to find a way for these guys to storm. So I just lost it on them. I made them come in like on a Sunday morning and practice, and I was all over them, and I wanted them to feel some pressure, but I also wanted them to understand, you know, what it was like to have something go wrong, because nothing had gone wrong yet, right? So we had this terrible practice. They all hated me. They all started getting mad at each other. Like I was calling no fouls. They were killing each other at practice. And 2 days later, we played CBC. CBC was okay that year. They were near the bottom of the league, but they were okay. Anyway, they beat us. They beat us, right? We'd beaten them by like 30, and they beat us by 2. And it was the best thing that could have happened to that team, because now they had to figure it out. Now they had to figure out, what's my role? What's I'm supposed to do? Oh my God, what's happening? And after that, they figured it out pretty quickly, and immediately we started norming and performing and went on to be very successful, right? So sometimes as a coach, you might actually have to force this situation on them, right? Because I think we all know you really truly learn by failing first, right? It's one of the things that drives me nuts these days about some of the parents that we have, right? They don't want their child to fail. They want to do everything for their child. They're so afraid. No, goddammit, let them fail. Failing is so important. You don't learn if you don't fail. So it's really important that they have that process and learn how to go through that process. And this is just, again, a really good book. I'd highly recommend you take a look at it, which just talks about how that dynamic works. I like lots of quotes. As you can see, I'm a big quote guy. So I want to talk to you a little bit. And this next thing I'm going to talk to you about, I think, is the most important thing I can honestly say that I've ever learned as a coach. I think this thing has probably helped me be more successful than anything else. And it's about teaching your players how to play a role. The key to teamwork is to learn a role, accept it, and strive and become excellent playing it. Pat Riley was way ahead of himself. He did this in the NBA with the Lakers where anybody was really doing this. And he got like star ex-MVP players to lessen their role so the team could be successful. Now, when I was young, when I was 19, 20, I'd already started coaching the younger teams at McGee. And I got to go to Mount Royal College to visit my brother. My brother was a very good basketball player, kicked my ass every day. I beat him twice in my life in one-on-one, twice. I remember both times too. But he went and played at Mount Royal, and he played for this man named Jack Kenyon. I can tell you that influence on me was one of the most important influences of my life as a coach. This guy was brilliant, an amazing coach. Like, he knew everything. He coached Mount Royal very successfully, won a lot of championships, also coached with the junior national team. But like, exact opposite of my personality, totally laid back guy. But he taught what I call the iceberg philosophy, which is what I teach. I've taught every team I've ever coached ever since, right? What we can see is only a small percentage of what is possible. Imagination is having the vision to see what is just below the surface. So I talk to my team at the start of the year before we get going and use a whiteboard. I show them this picture, then I draw my own little iceberg on the board. It's terrible. But what I explained to them is I said, we are like this iceberg, right? Because at the top of the iceberg, what do we see? We see, hey, Joey scored 30 points. Joey had 30 points. Johnny had a double-double, 15 points and 15 boards. And so what people see, right, what the fans see, what the parents see, what their girlfriends, boyfriends see, any of that stuff is what's on the surface. So they know that, hey, these guys are your best players, right? But what they don't know is at the bottom of that iceberg, where they can't see anything, is something that says, every day in practice, Billy kicks the shit out of Joey. Every day in practice, Billy makes him a better player. They don't know that because Billy doesn't get to play very much. He doesn't get to play a lot at all. But they don't see that. But you know that as a coach, and your players have to know that. So you have to make them understand and explain to them what their role on the team is. I meet with every player at the start of the year before we start, usually after a couple weeks of practice, and I meet individually with every player for 15, 20 minutes. Luckily, if I have assistants, they'll run practice that day, and I'll just call them in the office, and I'll have a meeting with them. And I will talk to them about what their role is on the team, about how I see their role. Now, let's be honest, everybody wants to play. Everybody wants to play, right? But we know that's not possible. So you have to convince some of the guys on your team, some of the players on your team, that you might not play much, but if you don't do your job, we won't be successful. Because everything is about the team, right? You have to explain this to them. So you'll have an individual meeting. I make them all make up their individual goals, right? And some of them will be like statistical goals. Some of them will be like educational goals. And I meet with all of them, and I'll help guide them a little bit, you know. But then I'll talk to them. I'll say, for example, hey, if I look at a stat sheet at the end of the game and I see that you have 12 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 turnover, right? If I see that stat line, or I see this stat line where you have 2 points, 9 rebounds, and 2 assists, which one would I like better? Well, the players all want to score. But this player, I need to rebound for me if we're going to win. So I'll tell them, I'll say, no, I don't want you to. I mean, if you get 12 points, awesome. But I want you to get the 9 rebounds, man. We need you to do that or we don't win. And you have to sell this and convince these players that that is who they are and what they need to be. Now, everybody wants to be a star. So you want to make sure they set high goals. And you don't want to discourage them. But you have to sell this to them. And you have to show it. What that player does at the bottom of that iceberg is just as important as what your star player does. Okay, and I believe this. If you have guys, if you have your 12th or 13th or 14th player on your team and they're unhappy and they're miserable and they're causing problems and they don't like being there and they're bitching and complaining all the time, you won't be successful. You just won't. So you have to talk to them and you have to convince them and make them understand that the role they need to play is so important. And you have to make sure you let your team know that. Because if your best players don't appreciate those other players and the sacrifices they're making for the team, then you'll have a problem with that too. So you got to make sure that your best players understand that as well. It's all about a standard of excellence that they all have to understand, but not everybody can be the star. Your question? Or stretching? Okay, gotcha. Okay? So I spent a lot of time on this. I think it's super important, and I think it's a huge reason you'll be successful if you can make your players understand the importance of playing a role. Yeah.
I think that's so much harder today than it was 20 years ago. Like, there's just the mentality of play or nothing. It really makes it very challenging.
I understand what Norm said was he finds it harder today than it might have been 20 years ago. And there's some truth to that, but honestly, this is what I've learned and what I've discovered, right? I mean, I've been around a long time. I'm pretty old school, right? I'm pretty old school. And you know what I've discovered, and I really believe this? I think kids want to be pushed. I do, I believe that. I believe they want discipline, and I believe they're willing to work hard. Sometimes the factors that we're fighting are outside, and it's their friends, or social media, or their parents. And so you have to overcome that. Like, you really have to make them understand. Like, I tell my team this all the time. I said, the only opinions that matter are the opinions that are in this practice right now. That's the only opinions that matter. You, your teammates, your coaching staff, your managers, that's it, right? That's all that matters, that's what matters, is those people, because we know what we're going through and what we're doing together, right? There's a famous phrase that I'll tell them, opinions are like assholes, everybody has one, right? So it doesn't matter what other people are saying. All that matters is the group that you have. And it's a hard sell, but I think it still can be done. So, something I recommend you do. I've done this for a while now, and it's interesting and entertaining at the same time. You ask your team, hey, how much do you think you're going to play this year? How much should you play? Now, we know there's 200 minutes in a game. If it's a grade 8, 9, or 10 game, there's 108, 32, 160, right? And so I asked them, so I'm giving you a piece of paper. I don't want your name on it. I want you to write down the number of minutes you think you should play this year. Fold it up and give it to me. So I'll do that. I'll collect them all, okay? So, and make sure they do it anonymously, right? Just write down on this sheet of paper, here's what I think I should play. You bring them in, add up the total minutes. Oh, see, I wrote it up there. 200 minutes in a game, 160 minutes for younger grades. And I've done this for a while now. What do you think the average number totals to? Anybody? What's your guess?
2 games.
What's that?
2 games.
So 400 minutes? Okay. Anybody else? 300. So the average that I've discovered over the years is 350 minutes. It's 350 minutes, almost 2 full games. So this is really eye-opening. I tell my guy, hey, guys, you think you should play for 350 minutes. Now there's 200 minutes a game. How do you want me to divide that up? Who's willing to maybe play a few minutes less so we can make this work? And it's really eye-opening for them because they don't understand that. They don't see that. But when you show it to them this way, they're like, oh, yeah, wow, right? And it's just a good exercise that I found has worked quite well for me.
Hey, Eve,
yeah.
what was the worst team you ever had? Was it a problem, like moving forward?
The highest number I've ever seen was 440. And that was one of the least successful teams I've ever had. That was a tough one. That was a tough one. I'm not going to say which team it was, but it's the program that you played in, Brody, so you might have an idea. You might have an idea. So every year, I give out a team book to my team. I've been working on this team book for 40 years. Some of it, actually, there's a bunch of it that I got from Coach Chambers a long time ago, but I developed this and I work on it, and a big part of the book is offenses that we're running, sets, end lines, out of bounds, defensive, all that stuff, right? It's a pretty thick book. But the most important part is what I'm just going to quickly share with you now, and that's the stuff that I really go over with and that matters, okay? Now, I give this to them. I make a hard copy of this. Like I said, I'm old school. So I make a hard copy of this for them, and I also give it to them in a PDF on our WhatsApp group so they can look on their phone, because God forbid they could be without their phone. So again, oh, hang on a second. Let me just get this right here. So as I said, I like to use a lot of quotes. Sorry, I'm going a little fast. So, player quotes, you know, I think it's a great quote. Play the right way means playing unselfishly, respect each other's achievements, play hard, fulfill your role, right? But I just want to share, this is the whole thing on Sweep the Sheds that I already talked to you about, that I share with my team. And then these are just some things I've come up with over the years. I'm just going to sit here so I can do this better, that have served me well. And again, I'll share any of this with you if you guys want it. I've just 10 things I think they need to do for our team, our program to be successful. And it's all pretty simple stuff, but you know, respect yourself and others, be responsible, develop and demonstrate loyalty, be a communicator, discipline yourself, work smart, change, handle success. So, but what I do is I spend a lot of time on this. This is my initial meeting with the team. I go through this very detailed with them because these are my philosophy. This is my culture that I'm trying to create. And you know, I've got some guys up here in the stands that I've coached who probably remember this. So practice, right? Practice is the most important time. It's the most important thing that you do. It's the thing I like more than anything else. I mean, I love competing, but practice is really important. Your players need to understand what you expect of them in practice, right? So these are just things I go over, right? You know, be dressed, be on the floor, be ready to go, right? Work hard, right? Don't fool around, right? Be enthusiastic. So important, right? Work at game tempo. Make your teammates better by pushing them, right? Don't leave the floor without permission. Nobody disturbs us during practice. All the players, their phones are away, man. When they come to practice, when they walk over the threshold of that gym, their phones are in their bags and they can't touch them. They're there for 2 hours to practice. My biggest one is number 10. When group activity is stopped, to correct one individual, pay attention so you don't have to be corrected as well. That drives me crazy, right? Now, criticism, I mean, I criticize my players. I criticize my players. I want them to get better. I need to help correct them when they're not doing things right. I think a lot of times nowadays, I think a lot of people are afraid to coach. They're afraid. Why? That's what you're there for, right? Don't be afraid to correct your players when they're making mistakes. Be that technical mistakes, tactical mistakes, or be that mistakes in their behavior, right? You need to be able to do that. So I tell my players, and it's hard. Like I understand that playing for me sometimes is not easy. I get it, right? Because I am going to get after them, and I'm going to correct them. And sometimes I do it in a game, and it's public, and I'm correcting them, and I'm yelling at them, and their parents are there, and their friends are there. It's hard. But you have to make them understand that it's not personal, that you are trying to help make them better, right? And here's what I've learned. If you are real, right? If the players know that the criticism is coming from the right place, if they know that you're doing it because you genuinely care about them as a person and you're trying to make them better, they're okay. They're fine, right? You have to manage different players differently. But if they know that you care about them, they are good because they know you're trying to help make them better. I tell my players all the time, I said, if I'm not yelling at you, you need to be concerned because that means I might have given up on you, right? And it's hard. They're young people. It's hard for them to understand this, but I think it's really valuable. But again, that's who I am, right? And that's the other thing I'll tell you, what I learned, is you have to be yourself as a coach. When I first started coaching when I was very young, I thought I knew everything. Of course, I didn't know anything. And I saw other coaches, and I tried to copy them. And if you do that, your players will not play for you. If you try to be something you're not, they won't play for you. If they think that you're being critical of them for ego reasons, because it's your ego that's at stake, they will not play for you, right? So teaching them how to take criticism is really important. And so this is something that I spend a lot of time with them on. Lastly, we just talk about game competition and about the importance of how you play in a game. And, you know, just talking about teamwork and playing hard but not playing dirty, being at your best, right? My players are not allowed to talk to the officials. They're just not. I don't allow it. My players are not allowed to talk to the officials. That's my job. And I do it pretty well, right? But I want them to understand, I want them focused on the game. I don't want them worried about that. I want them focused on the game. So, you know, there are times where I will get on a ref, even though the ref made the right call. And why do I do that? Because I want my player to see that I am supporting him or backing him or her up, right? I want them to know I have their back. Now, I don't do that all the time, right? I want them to be accountable, but I think that's important, and so that's a job I think is mine, so I don't want my players doing that at all. And then this is the teamwork stuff that I go over with them that I went over with you already. But now, we sit down at the start of the year as a team, and we set team goals, okay? And we'll set statistical goals, maybe rebounding percentage, points, all that stuff, but we'll also set goals about how we want to do in our league, in our tournament, right? And we always try to set the goals a little bit higher. I encourage them to set goals that are higher than maybe we can get to, but I think that's important. You have to do that. They have to know what their purpose is, right? When a game's over, you need to be able to tell them, hey, today we met 4 of these goals, but we didn't meet these 2, right? Then the other thing I do in my individual meetings with them is their individual goals. And this, again, is critical, right? This is absolutely critical, right? I want them to set basketball-specific goals for them, not only like statistical goals, but performance goals. We set educational goals. If they're grade 12, we talk about, you know, you want to go to school next year, where do you want to go, what do you want to study? If they're good enough to maybe play after high school, then I help them with that. And so, you know, like there's a player this year of mine, he's a pretty good player, and he's late all the time. He can't get up in the morning. He had like 40 lates last year. So I've set a goal with him that he has to have 10 lates or less. And if he does that, if he doesn't do that, then we'll talk about some consequences, right? So you need to set educational goals as well as basketball goals and life goals with them. And then what I'll do after my meeting at the start of the year is I'll meet with them again in January. I'll do another round of meetings, and we'll revise the goals if we need to. We'll talk about maybe revising their role a little bit if it might have changed. Maybe somebody got hurt, maybe their role, they got to play more now or whatever it might be, okay? And so I spend a good 15 to 20 minutes with each player at those 2 junctions in the season. Yeah.
So if you're not a teacher, like educational goals,
right.
Do you have some advice around that?
Well, what you should try to do, what I've always done, is I try to get copies of their report cards. And if you have a good teacher sponsor that's helping you, or you can get that information, right? And then you can set goals around that, right? You can see what their grades are, you can see, you know, what they might need help in, and then you can talk to them about that, particularly the kids in grade 12 or even going into grade 11, because those marks are now starting to count for university. So yeah, just make sure you get that information and talk to them about it. Because you know, if you ask them, well, how you doing in school? Oh, I'm getting straight A's, coach, it's awesome, right? Now, I assign everybody practice duties, be it sweeping the floor, doing the school clock, getting my table and my chair, whatever it might be. They all have a job to do, and they all have to do that job, okay? I also assign senior rookie mentors. Grade 12s will always be assigned to a grade 11 or a grade 10, and it's their job to mentor them, to help them, you know, whatever it might be, okay? If I'm lucky enough to have assistant coaches, then the coaches are assigned an individual player. That's somebody that they will check in with during the season and check in with during games. Okay? And these are all things that build the culture. Now, the last thing I'll share with you, I've done this forever, and you know what? They love it, okay, is we fine them. So we have a fine system, okay? And as you can see, it's not very much, but we fine them for things. So these are all things that they automatically get fined for. If they forget their practice gear, if they're not doing their job properly, if they're late for a game, if they miss a practice. So these are all fines, and we keep track of these fines all year long. Now, the best part of the fine system, now you can see the technical foul fine. There's quite often many years where I will lead the team in fines, unfortunately. But the last one is the best one. Because what we do is, we'll have a fine session, say on a Monday every couple weeks. And they really look forward to this. And they will keep track of things during the week. They'll write them in their phones. And we'll have this fine session, and they can fine anybody they want on the team for anything, right? It can be for, you know, shooting an air ball from the foul line, getting their ankles broken in a game, you know, like things that happen off the court in their social life, whatever it is. And so they can fine a teammate, and they will explain the fine and why the reason they want to fine the teammate, and then their teammate will get to defend themselves and explain to the team why they shouldn't be fined. And then the team will vote on it. and the fine can be anywhere from $0.25 to $1, although we do have double, triple, and quadruple fines that can happen at times, right? And I want to tell you something. Be it with younger kids or even be it with my college teams, they're always asking, hey, when can we have the next fine session? They love it. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of laughter with it. They really, it's just, I found it to be something that I think has been very valuable for the team getting together and bonding and having a good time. And one of the things on my team is you better be able to take a joke and you better be able to give a joke, right? Because I think that's important too. I think laughter and humor takes you a long, long ways, right? And so, you know, the boys are always trying to burn me and I love it and I try to get them back. It's a lot of fun. And I believe it's something that's really helped our culture over the years. I really do. So, you know, it's something you might want to think about doing because it really is a lot of fun. And what we do is we total up the money for the year. I collect it all, and then we go out for our team dinner at the end of the year. And, you know, some guys get fined like $3 for the year, and they're getting to eat like steak. And the other guy that maybe is up at $60 or $70 is paying for it. So it makes for a lot of fun. Makes for a lot of fun. Okay, I'm almost done with this part of my presentation. We'll get into some drills. Yes, sir.
How do parents accept these things that you have?
No, that's a good question. I'll tell you something. Again, I learned this from this young man right here. So I have a parent meeting at the start of the year, every year. I've had it every single year that I've coached. And I tell the parents exactly how I'm going to coach their child. I tell them. I will tell them, I'll say, listen, there's a few rules. I said, you cannot ever talk to me about playing time, ever. That's not a discussion that you and I are going to have. You cannot ever talk to me about strategy and about what offense we're running. That's not a discussion we're ever going to have. But I will talk to you as much as you want about your son, because I coach boys, right? I'll talk to you as much as you want. I'll talk to you about them as a human, about their great traits, about what they should work on, about where they should go to school. Like I'll have time, but I will never talk to you about playing time or about coaching strategy. And I just make it very clear. And I tell them, I'll say, listen, you're going to be sitting up there in the stands, and I am going to be yelling at your child. And that I understand that might not be easy for you to see. I get it, right? But you have to trust me. I'm not trying to embarrass or humiliate them. I'm trying to make them better. I'm trying to help them, right? And so I'm just very honest with my parents, right? I just am. And I've always found, for the most part, I mean, there's always going to be difficult parents. But for the most part, if you set the boundaries with them, if you set the boundaries of what you accept, and you tell them who you are and what you're trying to accomplish and what you're trying to do, they'll be fine, right? Because guess what? If those kids are having a really good time on your team, yes, even though it can be really tough at times, but if they're enjoying that experience, the parents are going to see that, and the parents are going to know that, and the parents will appreciate it. But you're right, it's tough. It's hard, especially these days, and I'm not saying that every parent loves me. They don't, right? I'm not saying every player loves me. They don't. But I think if you just have that, you have to have that meeting with them, and you have to be honest with them and tell them exactly how it's going to work. And that has always worked very well for me. Yeah, sure.
I had a player that was very sensitive, and these days we get players that are overly sensitive to criticism,
Sure.
or even to work.
Sure.
Working hard and being pushed. And some of them are actually, well, one of them that in particular was quite a player. He was gifted. He is gifted. He quit.
Right.
Just up and quit, and it was a surprise to me and so on. And I tried to get the players to get him back, right? But it never worked out.
So the question was that some, players, some are more sensitive than others, and how do you work with them? And you had a player that just decided he didn't want to play anymore. Well, here's my response to that. I would obviously chat with that child. I would try to explain to them that I'm just trying to I would do all those things. But in the end, if that player wanted to quit, then that's fine. I don't care how good they are. It doesn't. Yeah, no. But I'm just saying, if obviously, listen, mental health is a huge thing these days, and you want to make sure that and you have to be sensitive to those things. Of course you do, right? But in the end, if it's just not for him, then that's fine. And see, for me, and it took a long time to learn this, I don't care how good the player is. If it's not for them, if they would rather do something else or play for someone else, I'm fine with that. Like, I never take that stuff personally, right? Because our coaching styles aren't always going to be for everybody that we coach. All you can do is be honest with them and let you know the things that you are trying to impart to them. That's all you can do. Good question.
Hey, Paul,
Yes, Richie.
I think I learned just recently that my coaching style is not for everybody,
Right.
and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
And we had two kids that were very valuable to our junior team that won the BC 2 years ago. Decided not to play, pursued their coach and get that position, right? And the reason they didn't want to play is because they didn't put the time in the gym. And this was better than they got. And so the parents were bitching at me, all this stuff. Eventually, it was on them. It wasn't on me. And do I like to wish it? No, I wish we both still play. But I'm okay with it. Because those guys are going to burn their ass and when it counts the most. If they're not really invested.
So what Coach Chambers basically said is it's his playing style maybe not be for everybody. He's had a couple of kids he coached, juniors, they've won the BCs, but in the end those players chose not to play because maybe his coaching style isn't for them, and that's okay, right? I mean, that's the other thing I've learned. Like, you can be loud and you can be fired up and you can be intense and you can criticize your players and be really successful as a coach, and you can be completely laid back like Jack Kenyon or John Wooden and be mellow and be a Phil Jackson type, and you can be really successful too. You just have to be yourself. I'm telling you, if you try to be something you're not, your players will resent it and they won't play for you. So lastly, these are just things that I think have helped me develop a culture of success in the programs I've been in. So players, and this is what I just said, players will follow you if you are genuine and honest with them, even if that means telling them things they don't want to hear, right? 100% true. Work ethic. If you want your athletes to work hard, then you must model that in everything you do as well, right? You have to work hard too, right? You have to prepare your practices. You have to make sure your athletes know your practices are prepared. You know, you have to do that extra work. And, you know, for the huge money we get paid to do this, you know, why wouldn't we want to work hard? Everybody is accountable for both victory and defeat. The team always comes first, and you must find a role for everyone to play, right? You know, we've had some big wins in my career. We've had a big win. Maybe we've upset a team that was better than us. And, you know, I had somebody go off for like 40 points in the game, you know. And I had someone come off the bench who only played 5 minutes, but held the other team's best player to no points and took a charge and got 3 rebounds. And when the game's over, that's the kid I'm going to talk about. That's the kid I'm going to talk to my team about, because everybody matters. Even if a kid didn't play in a game, if they were enthusiastic on the bench and they were cheering on their teammates and they were grabbing that's important, and you have to acknowledge that. Stay true to your beliefs. Shortcuts don't help. Don't take shortcuts. Stick to the things that you believe in. And last but not least, understand your strengths and your weaknesses and surround yourself with loyal, intelligent, competitive people who are not afraid to share their opinion with you. I tell my assistant coaches all the time, talk to me. Tell me what you like and don't like, right? I might shut you down 20 times, but that 21st time you tell me, I might listen, and it might be the difference between winning and losing, right? The best part for me is not as much anymore, because I'm old now. I got to go to bed earlier. When the games were over, the funnest part was going out after with my coaches or my ex-players. Going to Boston Pizza, going to a bar, going to a restaurant, and just shooting the shit and talking to each other and having a beer and talking about the game and talking about players. It's the part I enjoy the most, right? And when I came back into doing high school again, right, when I moved out to West Van, I just realized how much I missed it, because that's the best part. When I do my scheduling, I schedule my buddies. Because I like to see them, and I like to beat them, right? There's nothing better than beating your best friend, right? Nothing. It's the best. Love it, right? And if they beat you, you're pissed off for 5 minutes, and then you're good. So it's the best part of the game, that social part. That's the part I love the most. And you have to understand who you are and to enjoy that part of it. Okay, so that's my little presentation on culture. I hope it was helpful to you. I hope you got some stuff out of it. I will send this to you if you want it. Just send me an email. And we could get that screen up and get the lights on. We'll get these lazy players over here up on off their butts and doing something.
Coach, I got a quick question.
Yes, sir.
So you were talking about what you're going to tell your role player about
Yes.
the iceberg.
Yes.
What do you tell your star player?
The question was, you tell your role players about the iceberg and how they're important. What do you tell your star player? It's a great question. You tell your star player that they better appreciate what their teammates are sacrificing for them. You just flat out tell them that. You say, hey, listen, you're very talented. You get to play like 35 minutes, and you get 30 points, and you're a great player. I said, but without your buddies, without your friends who are on this team who don't get to play, you wouldn't be that great player, right? We wouldn't be a great team. You just tell them, like, you can be a great player, and you can go score 40 points every night. And if we lose all the time, no one's having any fun. Nobody's having any fun. If you want to win, you have to be cognizant and respectful of your teammates. And you just have to send them that message over and over again. And sometimes when you have really good players who don't understand that, then you know what you do? You sit their ass down. Because I want to tell you something. You want your players to learn, to follow the things that you think are important for your team. If you sit them on the bench, they're going to learn it pretty quickly because they all want to play. So that's what I try to do. Good question, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to show you one drill that is my favorite drill, and then quickly we'll take requests for anybody that wants any kind of a drill, okay? So boys, I need 5 whites and 5 reds. Let's go, hustle. Give me a white here on the foul line with the ball. Reds on the baseline, line up on either side of the key behind each other. Whites, go down that end, line up either side of the key. You guys can all come in, doesn't matter. You stay here. So 2 lines here, 2 lines here. Okay, and you guys, 2 lines under the basket. 2 lines under the basket. Now, I also do a post-season meeting with all my players. When the season's over, I do another meeting with an individual meeting with them where I get feedback. And I ask them, hey, what did you like about this year? What didn't you like? What can I do better as a coach? Well, I have that meeting with them, and I always talk about practice, and I ask them, which drills did you like and which drills didn't you like? Number 1, make them competitive. Make everything you do competitive. I get that score clock out of practice, and we keep score and keep track of everything. But every year they tell me this is their favorite drill. We call this Vegas. I've been known to go to Vegas occasionally. I picked this up at the Vegas clinic. So we call this Vegas. It's a fast break drill, and it's 1-on-0 to 5-on-5. So we start 1-on-0. We start with a free throw right here. What's your name? Landon. And give me 2 rebounders. Okay. So Landon's going to shoot a free throw, and it's live. So these guys, if the rebound comes big and they don't get it, he can play still. Every rebound is live in this drill. So we start 1-0. So he's going to shoot. Don't miss, because there's a lot of people watching you. Don't embarrass yourself. It's a free throw. I mean, how hard is it? Okay, freeze. Now these guys are going to go down 2-on-1. Okay, so you're sprinting back on D. You guys go 2-on-1. Go. Okay, so they're going 2-on-1. Now, as soon as the shot goes up, shot, boom. The next 2 whites in line, you guys got to be in a single file line. The next 2 whites, there's 2 lines. You guys are now going 3-on-2. Go. 3-on-2.
I got first pass.
Okay, now, turn over. Next 2 guys come in right away. Freeze. And you're going to go 4-on-3, right? Then the next 2 guys will come down there. They're going to go 5-on-4. And then 1 guy comes in at the end, and we finish 5-on-5. We keep score, right? Free throws are worth 1, 2s are worth 2, and 3s are worth 3. Usually we play to 15 or 18 or 21, whatever number you want to pick. And they love this drill. And the losers, of course, get a punishment, right? We always do that, okay? You guys, let's do it live. Let's see what happens. Let's go. Okay? By the way, whoever loses is getting push-ups, so don't lose. We're just going to do up and down once. Ready? Here we go. 1-0 to 5-on-5. Live rebound. Now we're going 2-on-1. 3-on-2, let's go, let's go. Next two in, let's go. Head up, head up, head up, head up. Next two in, let's go. Okay, now, when we have a turnover like that, you want to grab the ball from me, young man? We have a turnover. Next guy in, let's go, red. Next guy in. Here we go, 5-on-5. Okay, so we've now completed it. I think that's 4-0 for red, right? Right? So the next guy on the red team is going to come down here. You guys go back. Next, yeah. And now you're going to shoot the free throw next, and we're going to go back the other way. Okay? Just before you start. We're going to do it one more time. It's 4-0 for red. You notice how much they like to dribble the basketball? Right? You notice how much they like to dribble the basketball? Boys! Get rid of it! Stop dribbling it forever when you have an odd man advantage. Get rid of it! By the way, also, the other thing that drives me nuts, someone will penetrate, they'll catch it, and what do they do with it? They put it on the floor again. They drive after drive. Right? What did Coach Julius work on with them? Come on, boys. You got odd man at the white team. You have odd man advantage. You haven't even scored yet. Let's go. Four nothing. Hustle back. 4-2. Let's go. Head up. Oh, nice pass. Count it, foul. 4-4. Don't stop. Good rebound. Oh, good hustle. The fifth white should be in there. Tie game. Score here, you win. Guys, hustle back. Let's go, hustle back. So what do we have? We had a tie, 4-4. That means you both lose. 5 push-ups to everybody. Okay, it's a really fun drill. The guys love it. We do it all the time. Call it Vegas. 1-on-0 to 5-on-5. All right, guys, just go on the baseline for me. All right, what do we want to see, coaches? Give me something, anything you want to see. Any kind of a drill. A rebounding drill, okay? Let's do this 5-on-5 as well. So give me 5 whites. I want you to fill the perimeter, okay? So corner, wing, top, wing, corner. All right, get me a ball, please. 5 reds come out right here on this red line. Okay, so I want you to make a circle around me. Make a circle around me. Okay, that's an interesting looking circle. Okay, a little step back. Not, I don't want to be that close to you. A little step back. Yeah. Okay, and you're facing this direction here. So you're facing that way, face that way, face that way. Okay, so this is a good drill that you can teach players how to crash the offensive boards. And at the same time, we're going to teach our players how to find somebody to box out. So what do you guys have? What are you guys going to have to do first and foremost to box people out? What are you going to have to do? What? Find the check. So what do you have to do that? What was that? What's your name? Nathan? Nathan, communicate. Communicate drives me nuts. I can never get my players to talk. It drives me insane. So you guys, the whole time you're jogging around me, you're talking. Hey, I got corner, I got wing. Hey, you got top, I got corner. You're talking the whole time, okay? Guys on the wing, you cannot cheat. You cannot crash the boards till I shoot the shot, okay? So you guys need to talk to each other a lot. Now, defense gets a rebound. right? 2 points. Offense gets the rebound, they get a point for getting the rebound, and then they play it live. If they can score, then they're going to get 2 or 3 more points. And you keep track of their points. Again, make it competitive, okay? You guys ready? Start jogging. Let's go. Talk! No cheating! Shot! Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Foul! So for the foul, the offense is going to get a point. Why would you foul the guy with no time on the shot clock? All right, Red, let's go again. Now, Red, what did you guys not do a good job of once they got the offensive board? No, after they got the offensive board. Right, you guys didn't talk about who was guarding who, right? You got to talk. All right, so right now it's 1-0 for the offense. Here we go. Box. Okay, offense got 1 point, but defense got that board. They got 2. Now it's 2-2. We'll go one more time. Okay? 2-2. Go. Ball. 4-2. Switch it over. Switch it over. Now, with having, if you have 15, you got 5 guys out. I'd have them in another colored jersey, and then they'd come in and rotate through. But we'll just do the same guys for now. Okay, it's 4-4. Ready? Go. Talk. Talk. Shot. Ball. So, shirt team. He got the first rebound, did a good job, and he's right here. Right? He's right here. And you were right here. And what did you think was going to happen? Admit it. You thought he was going to make it. I've seen him play. He misses lots of 2-footers. Right? You got to box out because now you gave him another point for the rebound plus 2 for the score. Red's up 8-4 now. So White, you better rebound this one. Here we go. Shot! Okay, there you go. That's 2 points. All right, last one. Last one. It's 8-6. Red, you get this offensive board, you win. Here we go. Cut. Shot. Shot. Okay, we'll end it. You guys won. Shirt team, 5 push-ups, please. So it's a good little rebounding drill. Teaches boxing out, crashing, teaches to be aggressive. What I like to do with this one too is I'll put a transition defense into it. So if the defensive team gets a rebound, they're going the other way. That's going to make sure the offensive team practices getting back in transition defense. So you can add that as well. Okay? What's next? Anybody? Screen and roll, offense or defense? Oh, thank God you asked for offense. you don't want to ask me for defensive drills, trust me. I'm going to skip that if you don't mind, just because some of that was covered before. So, I mean, depends. I guess it depends on what you're trying to get out of the screen and roll too, because let's be honest, how many times nowadays, seriously, does anybody screen and roll, right? Even your big kids, what do? They screen and pop all the time. They always want to space out 5. I actually think if you teach your players, whether they're big or little, to sprint hard to the front of the rim, yeah, you'll actually create a lot of opportunities. Fighting through screens. Okay, I'll do screens real quick because it's such a big part of the game. Truthfully, it's something I've got to get way better at too. Give me 3 lines, guys. Give me a line up here, say guards, smallest guys up here. Give me some bigger guys over there and medium range guys over there. Okay, so give me an offense. Can I have the first guy, you guys just back up. Sorry, you go in defense. Give him the ball there. You go on offense. You guys back up. So first guy, you're on defense. Second guy's on offense. And the other guy, I need you out of bounds, so you're out of the way. You guys out of bounds. You guys back up because we're going to play live. So I usually do 3 things on screens, okay? What does everybody want to do? What do they all want to do? What do the players all want to do? Switch! Right. Switch! Now, switching is very common in the game now, especially if you have similar sized guys, but I don't like to teach switching. I wait till I let them switch because I want them to learn how to do the other things. So we do 3 things. We go black, white, we go blue, and we go red. We just color them. We call them by color, okay? I used to do ice a little bit more, but I sucked at teaching it, so I haven't done it much lately. I find that really hard to teach, truthfully, right? I find it hard to players to grasp that. So I'll do a drill like this. We'll have them 3 and 3. We'll walk through each way we want to defend the screen. So if we're going to go white, which you don't do as much anymore, but in high school, you can do white a lot. Like, you really can go under a lot of screens in high school. What does the average high school team shoot from the three-point line? You'd be shocked. Huh? It's like in the 20s, like 27 or 20. Look at the BCs, man, with the best teams in the province. Like, very few teams are breaking the 33% mark. So you still can go under if you want. So we call under white. So let's give the ball, pass the wing, pass it back. Okay, let's go reverse over here. All right, second pass. Now you're going to follow that and you're going to set a screen. Okay? Now, if we're going to go white, I'm just taking your spot for a sec. We teach this guy here to push this guy out of the way. Not literally, but as he's coming over the screen, hey, left, white, white. I'm going to get right into him right here so you have room to go underneath, okay? So you want to teach them to have their arms here, not to extend their arms, but you don't want to let them set the screen. So I'm calling white, I'm getting into him tight, and he can just go right underneath it. So we're good to go, okay? So that's how we would defend going under. Now, if we're going to put it back to the top, put it back, okay, pass there, back here. Okay, stop. Now you're going to come set this screen. Yeah, under. Whoa, hang on. Hang on. Go back. Do that again. Sorry. Okay, so now, if we're going to go over the screen with a hedge, you guys back up, then we're going to go black, okay? So you're coming to set that screen. So this guy, first thing he has to do here, he knows he's going over, he's got to get his feet here because he's chasing this guy, and this is if you got a shooter, right? You don't want to let him get that shot. So I'm going here, but the other thing he has to do is he has to get physical. He has to not be afraid to make contact with this guy and to fight hard to get over top of him, right? You have to fight hard to get over top. So, and you know the other thing you'll discover? If your players fight really hard to get over a screen, the referees aren't very bright. They almost always call a moving screen on this guy. It's so unfair, but it happens all the time. Because you're fighting hard and he's trying to set a screen and you're making all this contact, you might get the call. So you got to fight hard. Shift your feet and get right on his hip. Now, what do we want this guy here to do? So back up for a sec. What we want him to do is he's here. Hey, black. He's going to show his numbers here. He's going to show his numbers here, and he's going to probably want to count to 2 or 3 at the most, maybe 2. He's just trying to slow this guy down, right? So he's stunting here, shows the numbers. We stunt, black, and you're fighting hard, and then he's going to swing this arm up, and he's going to sprint back to get the roller to the hoop. We're going to have tag help over here. Okay, so show us that one. So we're going to hedge, and we're going to fight hard over. Okay, do that again. That was good. Good job. Give him a hand. That was a good job. Now, you notice actually he did a really good job. He actually got over it before the guy could even set it. Right? You make sure you wait till he gets there, right? Okay, pass, back, call the screen, black, fight, recover. I got him. I'm here. Good. Okay, put it out. I'm going through this really quick. My favorite is we go blue, and blue is our blitz, or our trap. This is my favorite one. I like to do this all the time. Okay, so ball goes there. Come back, we'll do the screen here at the top again. You're going to come set it. Now freeze. So we are going to now go blue. So he's pretty much in the same position, but he's not trying to fight over here. He's going to be here like, he's not fighting over this guy because the guy over here, he is going to force this guy backwards. So I'm waiting here. I'm not going until he dribbles it. As soon as he puts it on the floor, blue, 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 and I'm chasing him. And now you're coming with me, and we are chasing this guy until he picks up his dribble. We are getting max ball pressure, because obviously we're short man in the backside, right? We're getting max ball pressure, and once he passes it out, then we're sprinting to find a man. And it has to be a sprint. So if I'm the trapper, as soon as he passes it out, I am sprinting to recover. All right, so let's show that one. Attack, attack, attack! Yes, good. Sprint, sprint, good. Now that's okay because it's only 3-on-3, right? There'd be other help. Okay, so we're going to do this drill now live, all right? So let's get the same guys ready. After you've been on offense, you go defense. Defense, come to the back of the line. So what we'll do is we'll go once on this side with a high screen, and then we'll reverse it, and we'll go with a wing screen. Okay, so we'll do the high screen first, and then we'll do the wing screen. And you're going to tell them what you want. You tell them, okay, so hey, we're going blue on this one. Hey, when we come over there, we're going white. All right, what are we doing over there? What are we doing? White. I can't hear you. White. How come you guys can't talk? White. What are we doing here? Blue. All right, here we go. Go, attack, attack, attack! Don't let him out! Find a man! Okay, now we'll go to the other side, and then we'll, not yet, we do 2 rotations. Back to top, same guys. Okay? Now we'll reverse it here, and then to the wing, and we'll screen over there. And we're doing what? All right, here we go. Let's go. Okay, so what happened there? You didn't call it quick enough, even though he's supposed to know. What do you, if it's white, what do you need to do? Right, so once they know this, right, like we might even tell you ahead with our scout, you know we're whiting this guy. As soon as you hear the screens coming, just jump off him. You don't need to worry about it, because he's not a shooter, right? He might be, I don't know. Okay, rotate, rotate. By the way, red is our switch. Red is our switch. Okay, we just use colors. Okay, hey, 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 we're going black. We're going blue. So you have to talk to each other to get this right. Here we go. Hey, I feel at home. It's just like my guys. Open your mouth. What are we doing over there? What's your name? What are we doing? Black. I want to hear it. Here we go. Come back quick, real quick, real quick. Here's the thing. Get the ball. Come set the screen. On black, your job is to get over top of it. His job is to hedge. So which way can't you never let him go? The way he just went. All right, let's go to the other side now. Let's go to the other side. Do blue. Here we go. What are we doing over there? Tell him what we're doing. Blue, let's go again. Blue's a trap. Blue's a trap. You got it. You got it. Here we go. Okay, and again, this is really good teaching stuff, right? If we're going to blue, which way can you never let him go? Right, so that's why, give him the ball here, please. Give him the ball. Get up here in the wing. Get up here in the wing. Okay, so we're going blue. Show me what your footwork is going to look like. Yeah, you are literally, you're going right up here. There's no way he's going this way, right? Yeah. And then you're going to get that trap. Sorry, I went through that super quick, but does that make sense? What's that? You mean after the pass? So what I do in this drill is actually, we'll put a player here. The reason I do that is because it's only 3-on-3. So I'll just put a player here to simulate the help. Now, once you get to 5-on-5, then you have to show the full rotation. Sorry? Oh, offense goes defense. Defense goes back of the line. Yeah, just rotate that way, okay? Got time for one more. Help defense, okay? Give me 4 on offense and 4 on defense. Give me the slots and give me the wings. Slots and the wings. give me 4 reds on offense, 4 whites on defense, the rest of you guys off. Who's guarding here? Who's guarding here? Okay, so a lot of this is going to depend on how you want to play. Do you want to force middle? Do you want to force baseline? Like, a lot of this is going to depend on how you want them to play, okay? Are you back? Are you up the line? So I'll just show you a basic one that I've used a lot, and this is where we force to the baseline, okay? So let's put the ball here. All right, so if the ball's here, this guy has got to get max pressure on the ball. So he's right on the ball. He's in the stance that we learned with Coach Julius earlier. He's calling ball, and he's getting pressure on the ball. Now, we're forcing baseline, so he has to slightly be slanted this way to force him to the corner. No, you're good. All right. We want to deny this pass. So you want to be up the line, not completely foot on the three-point line about. Yep, your top foot. Perfect. You're denying. Okay. You're denying because you're on the wing. So you're denying. So our only helper is this weak side help. So what I teach my guys is when they are 1 pass away, 2 passes away, they're like 1 foot in here, go to the wing. Now they're 2 feet in, again, ball man. So get in the stance here, make sure you can see ball man. Okay, come a bit more. Okay, so you're deny, you're 1 foot in, you drop down. Good, okay? So put it back to the top. So what we'll do, guys, we're gonna let them pass it around the perimeter, so don't try to steal it, just let them pass it. But if you're on the ball, I wanna hear you calling ball. If you're 1 pass away, I wanna hear you call deny. And if you're in the key, I wanna hear you call help. I don't wanna hear it nice and loud. So I'll have them move the ball around. When you get it, hold it for like a few seconds before you pass it, okay? You can pass, skip, whatever you want. Okay, here we go. Talk. Okay, so we'll just get them in their rotation so they understand what they're supposed to say and what position they're supposed to be in. By the way, again, I don't have time, but like right now, if this is my squad, I would be so pissed off at these offensive players right now because it's a defensive drill, right? So I'm on offense. Here, give me the ball. I'm on offense. Hey, woohoo! Yeah, baby. Woo, yeah. Oh, hey, there's a good pass. Like, every time you catch it, you are in triple threat. You are firing the pass hard. Take it seriously. It's a chance to practice something, right? Players do this all the time. Oh, it's a defensive drill. I don't have to do anything. Okay, so here's a rotation. What we do is we have a coach, or I'll just use my whistle. And when I blow the whistle, get in the stance. Which way are we forcing? Good. When I blow the whistle, he has the ball. This guy lets him go by him. So you put it on the floor hard and you go to the hoop. And you are calling, help! And you're chasing him. All right, now, our helper is the guy here, 2 foot in. He's coming over and he's got to get here, just walk it in, you chase him, outside the paint, and he's got to stop the ball. All right, now, yeah, you got to drop and you got to take the hoop and you got to take the drift in the corner. You got to drop here. No, you're chasing your man. You're trying to recover, right? You got beat. You're here. And you're dropping in take 2. So we tell the guy, once the whistle blows, go to the hoop. If you can get a layup, dunk on the guy. But if you stop there, go there. Now, if he passes it out, if he passes it there, freeze. This guy here, right, who's dropped down below the nail here, his job is to take whoever the ball's passed to, either one of these 2 guys. That's his job, right? The guy that dropped to defend the hoop, he defends the hoop. He's got to recover there. You close out hard on the ball, and now you guys communicate who's going to come to the top, okay? So that's the rotation. This is the hard rotation here. Go back there again real quick, and then we'll finish up. Give him the ball down here, okay? Right? Who dropped here? Okay, so here's a hard rotation. You've dropped, and he passes it back there. This is your rotation. So you got to sprint, right? What are we going to do here? You can do that. That's fine. What else can we do? What else can we do? Let's say you went and you helped and you were on this guy and he was here, right? He goes there. Where are you going to go? No, you're going to go there because that's the next easiest pass and you're going to go there, okay? All right, so fellas, pass the ball around the perimeter. If I blow it when you're on the wing, drive baseline, okay? All right, here we go. Hey, tough move, nice job. Okay, so you got to get there quicker, right? All right, So we're going to have the defense come on offense. Offense go out. Next 4 guys in. Let's go. Quick, quick, hustle. Hopefully you guys were paying attention. Hang on. Whoa, whoa. Where are you supposed to be? No, where's the ball? There. Where are you supposed to be? 2 feet in. A little closer. Good. Go. Good rotation. Hey, put it back here one more time. Here. I want to show you one thing that's really important, and then we'll call it a day. Your helper here in the middle. You have to teach the guy who's the helper that if he has to recover to the ball, right, it's a dead sprint. And you can close out however you want, right? Short, long, it doesn't matter. But here's the problem. Here's the rotation the guys get screwed up the most. Put it here, and you come out here. This is the hardest one. On the ball, deny. All right. When that pass goes from there over to there, throw it over there. Don't do it. Because you guys, they drop, and then they try to do this, and they try to shuffle. They cannot do that. It's what Coach Julius did earlier. If I'm here, and that pass goes over there, I turn, and I sprint. I'm going to turn my back on my man for like a second. Well, for me, sprinting would probably be 5 seconds. But I'm going to turn my back on my man, and I'm going to sprint, and I'm going to get into a stance. Otherwise, you'll never be able to recover on that drive. Okay, one more time, boys, and we'll wrap it up. Put it on top. Here we go. Good, find a man. Hey, give him a hand. Good job, good job. Thanks, boys. Hey, boys, just line up. Come over here, boys. Line up on this blue line. Let's go. Hustle, hustle. Line up on the blue line. Hey, let's give these guys a big round of applause. They've been stuck here all day, and they've done a really good job of helping us demonstrate stuff. So STM, best of luck on your season. What do you guys can be good? Should be, right? Yeah. What are you ranked? You're not ranked preseason? Oh well, Stoneberg's a moron. Someone's a moron. It's better not to be ranked, then you surprise everybody. There he is. What is Stephen London ranked? 2, 3? Oh, no, wait. Honorable mention, right? Yeah, every year. Stephen London, honorable mention every year. Thanks, guys. Have a seat. Thank you. All right, coaches, listen. Thank you so much for coming out to our clinic. I haven't done one of these in a while. I really enjoyed myself. Geez, I'm sweating. Holy shit, am I fat. We're going to do some more draws. And then don't forget, after, we're going to have some beer and snacks over there. Please stick around, have a beverage, and socialize, and enjoy yourselves. And thanks for supporting the association. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you all so much. All right, get out your